The line between an intense coaching moment and a total psychological collapse on national television is razor thin, and during a recent Indiana Fever game, that line was completely obliterated. What unfolded on the bench was not a passionate basketball debate, nor was it the typical hard coaching that builds championship DNA. It was a live broadcast of an unadulterated, public crash-out as head coach Stephanie White screamed directly into the face of her generational superstar, Caitlin Clark. The vitriol was unmistakable, the posture was aggressively combative, and the breaking point arrived when White benched her icon, allegedly telling Clark to get out of her face before subbing in Raven Johnson. This wasn't an attempt to correct a defensive rotation. It felt like a calculated public humiliation of the most important basketball player on the planet, signaling a relationship that is not just fractured, but entirely dead and buried. Welcome back to Royal Scope, where we look past the mainstream media narratives to dissect the hidden power struggles, psychological friction, and unseen tension rewriting the rules of modern sports. The casual basketball media will inevitably try to brush this explosive sideline blowout under the rug, comforting viewers with the tired narrative that this level of hostility happens all the time in professional sports. Commentators are already attempting to compare this toxic interaction to the historic, high-stakes screaming matches shared between Tom Brady and Bill Belichick during the New England Patriots dynasty. But that comparison is an absolute joke, failing under the slightest bit of analytical scrutiny. Belichick is an undisputed multi-time championship legend, whereas White is facing intense scrutiny for her tactical limitations. More importantly, no one in the New England locker room ever questioned whether Belichick respected his star quarterback. That respect was the bedrock of their entire organization, a luxury that simply does not exist right now in Indiana. No amount of engineered marketing hugs, carefully staged PR photos, or glowing radio interviews can mask the deeply concerning undercurrents captured on tape. When you look at the raw data and the body language, it becomes increasingly difficult to argue that true professional respect is guiding these decisions. Instead, an analytical look at the behavior suggests something far more toxic, a sense of professional resentment. When a coach looks at a global phenomenon who sells out arenas, drives historic economic shifts.
But let's take a look. Difference between this and a Tom Brady and Bill Belichick going at it. 1, Bill is a legend, Stephanie White is a slouch. 2, it was never a question whether Bill respected Tom or not. Everyone knew he did. Not the case here. I don't care how many hugs these two have. I don't care how many hugs they have. I don't care how many times Stephanie White pulls Caitlin Clark close by her hip. I don't care how many glowingly things Stephanie White says about Clark, and she hates everything about her. Why? Because Caitlin Clark is everything Stephanie White failed to become. Caitlin Clark is everything Stephanie White failed to become. She sees Caitlin Clark and she sees herself, but not as a success story. She sees herself as a failure. Like, damn, that could have been me. No, it couldn't have been you. You were regular, schmegular, degular. So what? You were good in high school. Who gives a rat's? Cece said, babes, I'm going straight up. What else do you want me to do? Steph White said, fuck out my face. I'm putting Raven Johnson in. 22 gets up, Raven sits down, and then what happens? Raven fouls out in 10 minutes of playtime. So what, Raven Johnson can't play defense either now, Stephanie? Metheny, Twitch, Richardson, Arms Cross McGee. Raven Johnson can't play now? Or you can't coach properly? You can't coach properly. Brianne January can't.
The absolute breaking point for this franchise might lie within strategic reports suggesting that the coaching staff genuinely believes the team operates better, faster, and more efficiently with a backup rotation running the point. We will explore the exact details of that backroom philosophy in just a moment, but if you are fascinated by the intense strategic battles and raw human drama behind the headlines, take a second to hit that subscribe button right now. Drop a comment below. Do you believe the coaching staff is actively trying to suppress their star players' game, or is this just an extreme case of old-school tough love? Let us know your thoughts below, and let's get right back into it. The strategic preference for playing a backup over a generational playmaker isn't just a questionable coaching philosophy, it borders on a complete tactical delusion. When White benched Clark to insert Raven Johnson as the supposed defensive savior, the theory exploded in her face almost instantly. Johnson proceeded to turn the ball over, blow her assignments, and completely foul out of the basketball game in a mere 10 minutes of playing time. Yet, the sideline remained completely silent, lacking any of the fiery passion or clipboard-throwing aggression that was directed at the franchise player just moments prior. It proves an unstable operational environment where archaic basketball ideas are being forced upon a roster that is built for modern, fast-paced greatness. The most fascinating part of this developing disaster is that the silence from the superstar has officially ended. Walking up to the post-game podium after another stagnant, identity-free loss, Clark delivered a cold, calculated response that completely exposed the coaching staff. When asked by reporters if the league's officiating and strict rule changes were the primary cause of her defensive struggles, she didn't take the easy way out or blame the referees. She looked directly at the microphone and stated coldly that officiating was not her problem tonight. She let the world know that the 5 fouls were not the issue. The real issue was the woman on the sideline running 0 offensive sets and disrupting the team's rhythm with erratic substitutions. The Indiana Fever are sitting at an even 4-4 record, completely stuck in place while allowing expansion teams to drop a staggering 100 points on them. The organization is rapidly becoming a case study in mismanagement, leaving fans and analysts wondering how long a generational talent can endure such a counterproductive environment. To protect her career, her branding, and her historical trajectory, the star player may soon have to consider taking drastic measures to force ownership's hand. Whether that means demanding an immediate structural overhaul of the front office or orchestrating a high-profile exit to a franchise that understands how to leverage rare greatness, the current path is completely unsustainable. The cameras will keep rolling, the tension will continue to escalate, and the breaking point for this entire organization is coming much sooner than anyone thinks.